Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you a little walk around Penistone, where we live. We've lived here just over 10 months now and we've never looked back since we moved here. So I want to show you around Penistone. So if you want to see what Penistone's like, please carry on and watch this video and I'll show you a few places around Penistone. So we'll walk onto the Trans Pennine Trail, and Penistone centres over that way. This is where they hold the Penistone show. So we're just about to join the Trans Pennine Trail and walk into Penistone. There is other ways I can go, but I thought I'd come down this way and start. But what I might do is go to the far end of Penistone and start at the railway station, where there's a couple of historical railway bits and bobs. So we'll probably start there. So I'll walk along Trans Pennine Trail, like I say, and I'll see you when we get to the train station. It's another lovely day though, must admit. Right, so here's this Trans Pennine Trail. So this leads down into Penistone. All the leaves have come out since last time I walked down here. This was the old railway line, Woodhead railway line that went to Manchester. But it closed in 1981 or something like that, I think. It's nice to see all the leaves coming out as well. It's 2nd of May today anyway, so we've had some good sunny days over the last week. Old railway bridge. Yeah, this actual railway track was all electrified as well before it was closed down. So we're going to have a look at something that was used in World War II, and also I think the other thing we're going to look at was used till about 1960 something. So we'll show you that when we get there. Got a bit of a walk to go yet. So we're just coming up to the edge of Penistone now. So the field here is where they hold Penistone show, and I think they also have Penistone Gala here, and a fair comes about twice a year, I think. Tesco supermarket's just up there, and we're coming up to where the original railway station used to be before it was moved to the new position where it's located now. It was moved before this line actually shut down. Might be able to see the church tower in the distance there. There's some midges about. I think last video I did, I got this far anyway, so where the sidings and that were for the old railway station, the coal dropout chutes. So we'll carry on and we'll go to the other side of Penistone and get to the railway station. There's only takes you to Huddersfield now and Barnsley, Sheffield. That's the only trains that run on that line now. So I think around this area was where the original train station would have been. Right, so this is where the old stockyard would have been many years ago. There's plans to develop all this. So like I said, they're going to develop all this into like cafes and bars and a few shops and that, so right, I'm nearly down into the bottom end of Penistone now. can see these used to be old railway buildings. I've decided to change my route. I'm going to walk into town centre first and then work my way to railway station. So these were the old coal drop-out chutes. Used to reverse wagons under it, and then the coal wagons would have been on top, and there would have been chutes that dropped the coal into the back of the wagons. You can see remnants of a chute up there now. So there were 6 coal drop-out points. You've got the old railway bridge there, and then up to the Penistone Royal British Legion Club. Just look back down to where we come from. And there's the church. So we have Tesco. Very busy place, Tesco, I must admit. And up ahead is the market barn. Market's open Thursday and Saturday. So it's built like an old barn. Thursday market's the bigger one. Saturday's more like a flea market with a few small stalls as well, selling cheese and bits like that. So I'll show you inside the market barn. So where you are inside the market barn. That's a good little DIY shop. Everything you want in there. And here we are on the main street. Plenty of shops and bars. Little kitchen, salon, co-op, spa, post office across the road, some more coffee shops, card shop. Got everything you want. Dentist. 2 doctor's surgeries. That's not the doctor's surgery we use. So we've got the library up this way. So that's Penistone Library and St Andrew's Church. I'm not going to walk back up that way, else I'll be going home again. So we'll walk back into town again. Yeah, like I say, it's got everything you want. You don't have to travel far, only if you want some bigger things. Just round the corner is like the bus terminus here. So that's the bus terminus where you can catch buses to Barnsley, Holmfirth, etc. And you can see down there is where the coal chutes are. There's some bistros yet we haven't tried. There's a little beer shop. Little florist round corner. So we've got the cenotaph there in front of the church. There's something going off in the church, so I'm not sure, so we probably can't have a look inside there. As you can see, there's a few buses come round. And that's the chemist. So as you can see, it's a compact centre, it's got everything you need. So that's St John the Baptist Church. And they've got a beer festival, 2nd, 3rd and 4th of March. Inside church. So yeah, setting it all up for a beer festival. So that's the church. You wouldn't think they'd have a beer festival in a church, would you? So here we have a bit of information on the burial ground and also history of Penistone, the cradle of the modern game association football. So a tale begins in the 17th century. So there's also some graves you can find around the graveyard with local characters of the beautiful game of football. I'm not into football myself, so quick view in church. It's like they've got a band in there. Drums and that set up a far end. Actually, somebody just told me they don't usually have beer festival in church. It's usually in the barn we looked at earlier on. But there's a nice smell of beer coming from that barn from inside the church. It's a lovely sunny day though, I must admit. So we also have a Penistone Film Festival celebrating our history through silent film. That must be at the Penistone Paramount. I'll show you that in a bit. Well, I've walked through this churchyard quite a few times and I've never noticed these little grindstones with all different information on it. So in 1699, Penistone Thursday Market charter granted. 1763, Penistone Cloth Hall built. 1850, Penistone 29 Arch Viaduct completed. 1863, first steelworks built in Penistone. 1913, Carnegie Free Library built. 1500, St John's Church Tower built. 1392, Penistone Grammar School founded. 1120, Penistone becomes an independent parish. 1086, Penistone, as it was called then, in the Domesday Book. Year 1000, Saxon cross in St John's Church carved. Some interesting facts there. Actually doing these vlogs has got me to see some things I've never seen before. That's like tiles depicting pictures around Penistone. I'm not sure you can see them, but not sure whether they've been done by school children or not. These certainly have though, aren't they? Looking at it. Let's look back at church. So that's our surgery we're registered with. Good surgery as well. So that's looking back up to the main street. So what we'll do now is walk his way down towards the train station. So that's the Penistone Paramount, which is like a theatre and a cinema, and it also has a organ in it as well. Actually, I ought to be ashamed of myself because I've not been in there yet. So they've got Pride and Prejudice 20th anniversary, which is a show 3rd and 4th of May. We've got Slade Fame 5th of May. So as you can see, it has one or two things on. Royal Ballet and Opera live in the cinema 14th of May. I think you just screen actual shows and things like that as well. 100th anniversary screening of the 1925 silent film Buster Keaton in Go West. We've got Junkyard Junior's production of Disney's Little Mermaid, 18th of May. So we've got Pride and Prejudice, Slade in Flame, and 2 to 1. So we've also got Comedy Club as well. We have all these little sheep dotted around as well in Penistone. Well, I hope you're enjoying this little look around Penistone. There's a few things I've never noticed before as well, just going around with camera. Little look back up towards centre there, where I've walked from. That's the old railway bridge that took you on the Woodhead line. This leads you back up. So the Pennine Trail goes over that, so this leads you up to the Pennine Trail again, which takes you towards the station. So we're coming back up to the Trans Pennine Trail now, and we're heading towards Ox Springs. That's where it'd lead to if you carried on walking. So we've got another little sheep there, directing you towards Penistone. So here we are. So we're on the Upper Donna Trail, and it's part of the Trans Pennine Trail. So behind that fencing is the old train station platform. You can see it a bit further down here actually. So as you can see, that's where the track beds would have been and the edge of the two platforms. Now if I turn around you'll see where the old station was. So that's the old station building. And you can see where the platform was and the tracks ran. It's certainly a good old train station building. I think it's offices and a little antique centre now. So that's really the first bit of industrial history. The railway line that's no more. I've got some more information boards around here, and we're down into the new Penistone station that takes you to Sheffield and towards Barnsley and Sheffield and then Huddersfield that way. So we've got some sculptures. This sculpture celebrates the male and female steelworkers past and present who helped to shape today's Penistone. So that's a foundation block for the electrified railway line. So the stanchions would have stood on that. So it certainly had some industry, steel making in Penistone from 1862 right up to 2018. So that's looking up the platform to the line that would have taken you on towards Manchester through the Woodhead Tunnel. So this is the new train station. Like I say, if we go up that way it takes you to Huddersfield, and down that way takes you towards Barnsley and Sheffield. Right, so we'll walk on a bit more and we'll go to the two other interesting historic pieces that's been left over from the railway history. I hope you're enjoying this little walk around Penistone with me. We'll carry on walking till we get to these other two industrial heritage history parts, So we're just walking down by the railway line now. It takes us towards Sheffield. The old line would have run up just behind me. I hope these two things aren't overgrown by brambles. Last time I come it was winter time, so it were clear. Got a train coming. Northern Trains. Right, so we're nearly to the first bit of railway history. This one's from the Second World War, prior to the D-Day landings. So there, give you a clue what we're going to look at. World War II tank ramp and railway turntable. So here we are, a bit of history on it. So Dennis Healy there. You can see we're going to look at the tank ramp there. Trains full of tanks. The electrification of the railway, and then up onto Langsett Moors. So the modern housing estate on the one side of the footpath, it would take the most vivid imagination to picture a young Dennis Healy directing operations to unload a vast number of tanks from trains in the heart of Penistone during the bitter winter of World War II. The former Chancellor of the Exchequer makes reference to the biting cold in his autobiography. But the only other clue to this chapter of the town's history is the tank ramp, used to unload and load vehicles at the edge of what was a marshalling yard along Green Road, Penistone. Wartime secrecy means full details of the site and its use are difficult to establish, but those who lived through the era have previously told local historians of huge numbers of tanks being loaded and unloaded that stretch all the way into Penistone railway station. Tanks were apparently then driven onto Langsett, where a training school was set up to train crews in advance of D-Day landing. Once unloaded, convoys stretched the full length of Green Road before setting off for the drive to Langsett Moors. So that's the history of the tank ramp, and I can see it just in front of me now. So you can imagine what a bustling area this would have been then. So at the front of it now you can see where the railway lines come out, so they must have backed the wagons up to that, and then the tanks rolled off backwards or forward and drove onto the actual railway trucks. Interesting structure. So the tanks would either got onto the trucks this way or taken off this way. So imagine a tank driving up here onto a railway truck. There you are, so that's the first bit of railway history here. So we'll walk up towards what's left of the old turntable. So all this side would have been the marshalling yard for the tanks and that. The sounds of it, from what I read on that sign. Now it's a housing estate. Wonder how many people living in those houses know the history of this area where they're living in. Tell you what, I'm surrounded by midges. Should be nearly to the turntable now. It's only the foundation ring that's left. Here's a little bit of history on the turntable. So it looks like it was pushed round manually, and then in later times it was electrified. So we're not sure when the turntable was built, but believe it was to be a fine piece of Victorian architecture. It was used up to the 1980s for turning round locomotives that were facing the wrong direction. The turntable was so well balanced that 2 men could rotate it even with one of the larger locomotives weighing more than 100 tons. So here we are. We'll go in and have a look at it. Right, so we're at the turntable sold sleeper there. So here we have the ring of the turntable. You can see where the over there where they lock the lines in, or the turntable in. Quite interesting actually. You can see where the shoes are for the rails as well. They used to come off. So there's one of the shoes for the rail. So the rail line used to go off that direction. There's another one there, look. So it would have gone off that direction, the railway line. So this must have been a dead end at one time, then they must have just turned the railway down, train round here to go back the other way. I'm only guessing. I can see an old sleeper over that end. I see there's no cable support there. I see there's some old wooden sleepers and that there. Whether that maybe what they walked round on and pushed, because there's like little steps of wood on it. So you can see there's little like pushing steps there on the outer circle. It's a shame that's all that's left of it. So we've got another old sleeper there. Yeah, you can see there's more of those little wooden pushing steps. Don't know what they were for actually. I'm just surmising it was for pushing it round manually in the old days. Right, so that's the 3, sorry I said there were 2, but there's 3 in there. There's the old railway station, the tank ramp and the turntable. So hope you've enjoyed looking at them. We'll carry on with this walk. Just got one more bigger structure to look at. Hopefully you'll enjoy looking at that with me. Right, so we'll walk back towards the station. Be interested to look back at old pictures of the trains and that. I think there's 1 or 2 videos on YouTube where they've gone into historic footage. You might be able to have a look if you search on YouTube for Woodhead Line. That's where we are back at the railway station. I bet that used to be part of a footbridge that come across the railway station. I'm only guessing. Right, so I'm in the park now. I forgot what it's called. I'll find out. River runs down there. So what we'll have a look at is the actual viaduct that takes the line over the valley towards Huddersfield. Some nice back gardens right down onto the river. Right, so it's just coming into view now. There we have the viaduct. 29 arches. I think it was 29 arches. So we read about that on them grindstones in the graveyard, didn't we? If you remember back that far. We'll get a little bit closer. Train going across. That's going to Huddersfield. I'm surmising this would have been like a mill area. Looks like man-made walls, etc. around here. So you can see the structures behind me. We'll have a quick look at the river. A few ducks. Some little ducklings down there. And a few fish surfacing. Lazy duck. Right, we'll get a bit closer to the viaduct. I say rapeseed's growing well in that field behind it though, it's all yellow. There we are. Probably get a better view from the other side, but I think you can walk under there, I'm not sure. Hey, it's a lovely green open space, this part though. The path actually goes under the viaduct, but I don't know how far it goes. I've never explored that far. No, it looks like it comes to a dead end. It's all them beautiful yellow fields with rape seeds in it. Well, rape flowers, not seeds yet, are they? Stunning. I think you can walk that way. There's a little gateway here, but it's a bit overgrown with nettles and that, so I'll stop to this side. I've got to go and do a bit of shopping in Tesco anyway before I go home. We'll have a last look at these rapeseed flowers. Beautiful. The actual viaduct disappears into the woods there. Looks like it curves slightly as well. I thought it went straight. It curves slightly. You can see from here. Well, what a fool I am. I forgot to fetch me battery bank. Me batteries run out of me DJI pocket. So I'm filming this on me last bit on my phone. Right, so that's where we've just walked from. The start of the viaduct towards Penistone. And that's where it carries on over the valley and goes on towards Denbydale and Huddersfield. Certainly an impressive structure. Right, we'll have a last look at the viaduct and I'll work my way home. Right, I'm going to end this video here. I've got to go to Tesco, just get some little bits and get home and get some tea done because Karen's at work today. So I hope you enjoyed this little walk around Penistone with me. Hopefully you've seen a few sights. It's really impressive, this viaduct, I must admit. So if you've really enjoyed it, don't forget, do the normal YouTubey stuff and please leave us a comment in the comment section below, and that's it until the next video. I know a lot of people tune in just for caravan related things, but the channel's diversifying a bit with with retirement and that. So I'm gonna leave it here, like I said, and we'll see you in another video. Not sure where or what we're doing, but we'll see you in another video. Bye for now.